Welcome to the BitcoinNews.com Daily Radio Show. Today is August 8th, 2018, and this is our 5th episode. We cover some of the biggest topics in the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain space. I am your host, Zachary, aka Space Marine.
Hi, and I'm your co-host, Emmanuel, aka Space Cadet. Thank you for joining us. Today's Bitcoin price has managed to stay above $6,000. It went as low as $6,100 earlier today, and right now it is sitting at $6,300 this evening. Keep in mind, the market cap for all cryptocurrencies is at $220 billion. This is down from $300 billion back on late July. What do you think about this, Space Marine? Let us know.
Thanks, Space Cadet. Bitcoin's price crashed hard today. It was at $6,700 during our last show, which was significantly down from the day before. It was around $7,150 before it started crashing. And this crash has entirely occurred due to the rejection of the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund. And today, Bitcoin's price declined $600 all at once.
Fatality.
The market had been getting excited about the possibility of a Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund, or ETF, because it would allow Bitcoin to be traded on all the major stock trading platforms that institutional investors use, making it easy for investors to diversify their portfolio with the click of a button, just like they buy any stock. And even if they just put 0.1% of their holdings into Bitcoin, it would cause a massive Bitcoin rally, possibly to $100,000 per Bitcoin. So, before this speculation started, Bitcoin's price was less than $6,000. It hit lows around $5,700 in July. And now it appears we're on track to go back to that, now that the Bitcoin ETF from the Winklevoss Bitcoin Trust and now the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF haven't been accepted. And it was actually a little bit incorrect to say it was rejected earlier. It's been stalled. They've delayed the decision for the Bitcoin ETF until September 30th, 2018. But a legal expert analyzed this situation before this decision today and said that they have the opportunity and ability to delay the Bitcoin ETF decision on VanEck SolidX all the way until March 2019. The legal expert who made that analysis says he expects the SEC to take as much time as possible before making a decision, because this is a huge decision to allow a regulated and legal financial instrument based on Bitcoin under SEC control. So they would take until March 2019 to make a decision on VanEck SolidX, but additionally, and unfortunately, they wrote a 92-page document when they rejected the Winklevoss Bitcoin Trust ETF about a week or two ago, explaining how they're not ready to accept any sort of Bitcoin ETF because they think the entire Bitcoin market is volatile, risky, and possibly fueled by money laundering. So even in March 2019, all things being equal, the SEC probably wouldn't accept any sort of Bitcoin ETF. Under this current administration, the SEC commissioners would probably have to completely change for a Bitcoin ETF to happen, and that might take years.
Hey, Space Marine, is there any hope?
Yes, there is hope, Space Cadet, for us Bitcoiners. The Intercontinental Exchange, or ICE, which runs the New York Stock Exchange, and that's the biggest stock exchange in the entire world, which transacts trillions of dollars, far more than that's transacted in the Bitcoin markets. They're creating their own Bitcoin exchange called BACKT, B-A-K-K-T, and they're going to trade many various cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin's going to be the preferred one because Bitcoin is the gold standard of the crypto world. And they're going to launch physical Bitcoin futures. The key word here is physical. They're going to be settled for physical Bitcoins, and not only are they going to be settled for Bitcoins, they're going to be settled every single day. So someone can buy a contract and receive the Bitcoins in the same day. And unlike the cash futures which exist on CME and CBOE in Chicago, these physical futures will have a direct tie into the Bitcoin market, because actual Bitcoins will have to be bought to fulfill the futures contracts every single day. However, this will not be ready until November 2018. It has to be approved by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC. Fortunately, the CFTC is a lot different than the SEC. They're actually favorable towards Bitcoin, as indicated by them allowing the futures in Chicago already, so they're very likely to accept physical Bitcoin futures, especially since the ICE, which is in charge of the NYSE, is the one proposing these futures and putting them together. They are the experts in the world on futures markets, and it's very unlikely a proposal by them would be rejected.
So let's keep our eyes peeled.
Yes, Space Cadet.
Hey, Space Marine, I heard that quantum is a threat to Bitcoin.
Affirmative, Space Cadet. Quantum computing is the biggest threat to Bitcoin in the future and all other blockchains and cryptocurrencies. Essentially, quantum computing is going to be far more powerful than modern day computers. And the first aspect of this is that modern day computers are hitting their limits of processing power. At this point, we could only add more chips and more processors to a computer to make them more powerful, but we're nearing the limit where chips themselves won't get more powerful due to the transistor quantum tunneling limit. Essentially, when transistors get so small, quantum tunneling causes electrons to free flow through the transistor barriers, the little things that make up the transistors on the chip. The electrons will just go right through them, like they'll teleport through them because of the quantum foam. It'll go right through barriers, which sounds impossible, but on the quantum level, this is quite possible. Therefore, if quantum tunneling is a problem when transistors get too small, computers will not be able to be in a 0 and 1 state accurately. And if there's any inaccuracy in a computer being in 0 or 1 binary, if it could be a 1 or a 0 and that's not controlled, the computer won't work anymore. So essentially, transistors are not going to get any smaller. They're not going to be able to pack more transistors into chips. And therefore, modern day computer chips are going to hit a limit quite soon. We're nearing the limit right now. And to bring this back to what we're talking about, how quantum computing is a threat to Bitcoin, right now the most powerful classical computers, the most powerful supercomputers, are no threat to Bitcoin. The best hacker with the biggest supercomputer in the world cannot hack Bitcoin with a brute force Schnorr attack, where the hacker would try to find the private key based on the public key. It would take longer than their lifetime, probably many lifetimes, to get a private key out of a public key. However, with quantum computers, it will be possible to get the private key from the public key once the quantum computers get strong enough. And this is because quantum computers use qubits instead of regular bits. A regular bit in a classical computer like the computer you're using right now could be in a 0 state or a 1 state. Binary. Quantum computers use qubits, which could be in 0 or 1 or superposition due to quantum superpositioning, and that yields 4 states per qubit. So automatically, quantum computers have 100% more states with just 1 qubit than a regular computer that uses bits. However, the amount of qubits is not limited. There could be infinite qubits. Right now, the most powerful computer in the world, most powerful quantum computer, has 72 qubits, and that yields 4.72 times 10 to the 21 states. This is a tremendous amount of states, and all these states can be used to produce more calculations. So basically, quantum computers are exponentially and infinitely more powerful than classical computers. Right now, they're not powerful enough yet to hack Bitcoin, but there's studies saying by the year 2020 or maybe 2030, somewhere in that time range, quantum computers will reach the point where they can hack Bitcoin via a Schnorr brute force attack, where a hacker tries to calculate the private key from the public key. Once this occurs, someone could, for example, find the public address of the Coinbase wallet, and perhaps Coinbase has their wallet in cold storage, which means it's off the internet, versus a hot wallet, which is connected to the internet. It could be in cold storage in the most encrypted device possible, under a mountain, under an ice cap, in outer space, and it doesn't matter. Someone could find the public key, because all public keys are located on the blockchain ledger, like on any block explorer, like on blockchain.info, which is now blockchain.com. Someone could find the public key, and there's actually a ranking of the top crypto wallets. There's a site that ranks them. But this is safe at this point because no one could take a private key from a public key. But the first person that has a quantum computer that's powerful enough can just go on the website that shows the top 100 Bitcoin wallets, choose any of those wallets, and then hack it. Once they have a quantum computer that's powerful enough, they can use a Schnorr attack with Schnorr's algorithm and get the private key, pull all the Bitcoins out of that wallet without telling anyone, and then sell them for money. Eventually, though, once enough people have quantum computers, it will totally destroy the Bitcoin market. All the Bitcoins will be getting stolen all the time. Bitcoin will have no value. However, this does not have to be the way it is. Bitcoin can go quantum.
And we're not too far. A company based out of California hopes to build a functional computer with 128 qubits in the next 12 months. If they succeed, they could be the world's most powerful quantum computer, outpacing supercomputers. Tell us what you think about that, Space Marine.
Well, it's basically that. Once again, this indicates that quantum computers are rapidly advancing, and it won't be long before they're powerful enough to attack Bitcoin. It might take some more years, but Bitcoin really has to be ready for this. And like I alluded to, Bitcoin has to go quantum to survive. There are some cryptocurrencies that claim to be quantum resistant. Like there's one that's actually called quantum resistant ledger. I think Metronome says they have quantum resistance. But these all use classical blockchain techniques and algorithms. And while they might have some more resistance to a brute force attack, they're not really quantum in any way. But researchers in Russia have actually built the first quantum blockchain, and they tested it. They had 4 computers on this quantum blockchain, and one of the computers was actually attacking the network, but only legitimate transactions got through. And this is from the magic of quantum cryptography. And quantum cryptography is the most advanced field of quantum physics, actually. So quantum cryptography is the most advanced field, and it's already ready to the point that they're building quantum blockchains. Although these quantum blockchains won't really be useful until everyone has quantum computers, which will be around the point that Bitcoin probably gets attacked. So hopefully there's a smooth transition, but who knows. But to stay on topic, quantum cryptography uses photons for their keys. There's something called the quantum key distribution, and they use photons for the key. And due to the observer effect, if these quantum keys are viewed in any way by a hacker, they get destroyed because of their photons. Literally, it's unhackable. Someone could have the most powerful computer or quantum computer or even a computer we can't imagine yet. And due to the laws of physics and the fundamental nature of photons, quantum keys cannot be hacked. And that's what these Russian researchers were using. And they use quantum keys to successfully send transactions already. And this is a major milestone. So I'm thinking, hopefully, Bitcoin's developer team could work together to transfer Bitcoin onto a quantum blockchain. So when it gets to the point that Bitcoin's about to be attacked, it won't happen. They'll just switch to a quantum blockchain that uses quantum keys, and there'll be no problem. These quantum keys are unhackable. If anyone tries to hack them, it won't work. So Bitcoin could easily survive with a lot of effort, though, if the lead developer team works together to develop a quantum blockchain. I think other cryptocurrencies are going to come out that are quantum before this happens. Perhaps even the one that these Russian researchers developed could be considered the first quantum cryptocurrency and blockchain, although it is unclear if they had any cryptocurrency associated with it. This technology is so advanced and complex, they might have just had a simple blockchain with absolutely nothing else, and they were probably sending data across it with quantum keys. But that's practically a cryptocurrency already.
Space Marine, in a nutshell, cryptographers have to take precautions to protect Bitcoin from the fast development of quantum computers.
Affirmative, Space Cadet.
And now for our next story, Space Marine, tell me more about the Honeyminer.
One of the most amazing things about cryptocurrencies, at least most of them, is that you can mine them. This works via proof of work, where computers calculate cryptographic hashes and group transactions over the cryptocurrency network, like Bitcoin, for example, is proof of work. They group Bitcoin transactions into blocks by cryptographically hashing them. And when someone correctly does a block, they get paid for it, and this is called mining. So essentially, someone could have their computer doing calculations while they sleep and earn Bitcoin or other types of cryptocurrencies with no effort once they set it up. Usually the most popular way to do this on a personal computer is with CG Miner, which can use your computer processing unit, CPU, or graphics processing unit, GPU. And GPUs are more powerful than CPUs. Basically, you use your CPU and your GPU inside of your computer to calculate cryptographic hashes with the proof of work algorithm and earn cryptocurrency. With Bitcoin, the difficulty is so high you can't really earn any Bitcoin anymore. So usually people mine script coins or Monero, which have much lower hash rates and much lower difficulty, allowing people with even a personal computer to slowly accumulate some money over time. Usually it's measured in Satoshis, and that's exactly what Honeyminer does. CG Miner, which was the popular way to do this, was actually, it took a lot of technical knowledge to do this. It had a high barrier for use. You had to really learn about it and do it from the command line to run CG Miner. Honeyminer essentially takes CG Miner and puts it into an easy-to-use program. You download Honeyminer, you click Start Mining, and boom, you start having Satoshis flow in. Even with the weakest personal computer, you'll still get some Satoshis flowing in throughout the day. However, it might not be worth the electricity. I thankfully live in a place that has free electricity, but even I don't choose to do it because it could overheat your computer and kill your computer long term. But for people that want to do it for fun, they might look past the fact it costs more electricity than it makes in Satoshis. It might hurt the computer a lot, which will cause the computer to die earlier than it should, which will cost them money. But they look past all that because it's just fun to see Satoshis flowing in. It really is fun. And you can go to sleep and wake up and you'll have like 100 Satoshis from when you're sleeping. And maybe in the future that'll be worth a lot of money. Because that's the way mining worked in the past. People were told, hey, you're mining unprofitably, it's not worth the electricity. But then Bitcoin went up to $20,000 and suddenly they made a lot of money, even on like very weak mining power.
So Honeyminer was designed for easy mining.
Yes, Space Cadet. Essentially, it allows people just to download a program, hit the on button, and they're mining. It uses their CPUs and GPUs on their personal computer. It's also designed for farms, but I personally recommend just using CG Miner if you're running a serious operation, because Honeyminer probably takes a cut of what you're mining, and they don't disclose that, and there's no way to know how much you're really earning. They just show you what your balance is, and they're probably taking a cut for their service. With CG Miner, no one's taking a cut besides the mining pool, and the mining pool tells you how much percentage they're taking. It's usually 1 or 2%. Honeyminer, there's no way to know how much they're taking. And by the way, there's another program called MinerGate, which might be a little better than Honeyminer. You could choose different cryptocurrencies to mine. With Honeyminer, they only let you mine one cryptocurrency. Right now it's Monero. But I think it changes based on the optimal mining profitability. So right now Monero is the best to mine with a weak personal computer, and MinerGate says that too. But on MinerGate you can choose to mine another coin. Because sometimes it's fun to mine a really cheap coin like Dogecoin, because you can actually earn entire Dogecoins even with a cheap personal computer versus fractions of a Monero or very tiny fractions of a Bitcoin.
You can mine without spending much money on mining equipment.
That's right, Space Cadet. You could just mine with your personal laptop that you're listening to the show on right now. Perhaps you could even mine on your iPhone, but they're actually banning all the mining apps on the phones. They actually had them. You could mine on your phone in the past, but the Apple Store and the Google Store have banned them. But anyways, yeah, with your personal computer, you don't have to buy any additional equipment. You could just use Honeyminer or MinerGate and be a real cryptocurrency miner. You could say to people, I am a cryptocurrency miner with Honeyminer or MinerGate without having any technical knowledge. With a really weak computer, you could still mine. It might not be worth it, but it's actually worth it if it's fun. It's not all about the money. And as a lot of people are saying, like John McAfee, Bitcoin might hit $1 million way in the future, and then Satoshis will be worth something. So perhaps in the end, even if someone barely makes any money now, if they hold on to it, and they mine with Honeyminer all the time, maybe that'll be their fortune in the future. Thanks for listening to this edition of BitcoinNews.com Daily Radio Show. This is August 8th, 2018. And please go to BitcoinNews.com for all the latest cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Bitcoin news. We cover the full spectrum of news. If you read BitcoinNews.com, you will become a cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Bitcoin expert in no time. And we will always be here doing this radio show every day forever, even during these dark times when the Bitcoin price is declining. But as they say, it's always darkest before the dawn. This is Space Marine signing out.
And this is Space Cadet. Thanks for listening.